Hello there. This is Kathy Rosewell Jonas
And Heather Shelton.
from Radiant Heart Consulting and Epic Healing Eugene.
So, Kathy, maybe you could talk us through a little bit about what you might share and what somebody may expect in a psychedelic experience.
All right, thank you. So our first, or my first tip is, if you haven't already, I created a YouTube video recently. It's 5 tips to preparation. And I talk about the importance of mindfulness, some heart-centered practices, moving from the head, the thinking mind that's so busy trying to figure out all this stuff on what's going to happen, to relax into the present moment as a way to also build resiliency into your daily life. So I guess one thing I'd like to say is that these experiences are very individual, and having reasonable expectations about a psychedelic experience is often a helpful place to start. If you are already coming into the experience, comparing yourself to what other people's experiences are, sometimes that will lead to disappointment, because psilocybin really meets a person where they are at. So it's not like Western medicine in the sense that you take a pill and it helps to alleviate a symptom, or that you're going to take this psilocybin and everything is going to be correct and right in your life. Instead, what this is an opportunity to meet yourself, your deepest knowing, your inner intelligence on a level that possibly you haven't quite accessed before, or maybe you have at different times in your life. But this is where the healing is in your own activation of your inner resources, your inner knowing, and to be willing to sit in this space of an unknown, because you don't know what this is actually going to mean.
Yes, absolutely.
So another thing that's helpful to know is a person may or may not have visual experiences. That doesn't mean that nothing is happening if a person doesn't have visual experiences. What I like to tell people is really we're looking for the light show within. We're looking for insight. We're looking for a connection that the psilocybin helps you make with yourself. And it might be that you're accessing information about your life, maybe past memories, maybe future insights on how you can improve your life. So this is part of that inner work that can happen with psilocybin. The other thing is, after the psilocybin effect, people can feel very tired afterwards. Maybe they feel activated. Maybe it is that their sleep might be disrupted for a few days. Maybe they sleep better. I like to look at these experiences as kind of that, maybe you have a still pond that you're looking at, or maybe it's windy out there and you have waves and rapids that are going on. But whatever happens is that there's going to be sediment of that pond that are going to be stirred up, and that has to do with the deep waters of the subconscious and unconscious mind, is going to be stirred up. That means that there's things to work on. Things have been brought up. And so it might take a little bit of time for you to figure out what to do with these stirred up feelings and emotions. And this is why it's so important to think about coming into the experience as that things are going to maybe be unsettled, that you're going to need some time to process, you're going to need some time to integrate what happened, to understand what happened. So journaling can be very important. Take it away, Heather.
Well, and I just want to talk about integration because, I think there's an idea that we have an experience and then we integrate that and we move on in life. And integration can happen, parts of integration can happen shortly after an experience. There may be some really beautiful or new insights that come, and now we'll figure out how to integrate this into our daily life. And there's also times with these large experiences where months can go by, and maybe 6 months went by, and all of a sudden something happens in your life and you realize, oh, that's what that insight was about. I'm prepared for that. I didn't realize that was the message I was receiving, and now I do. And so really, I think in integrating, it's important to be gentle with yourself too. We talk a lot about compassion, and I think one of the biggest challenges for a lot of humans is actually having compassion for our own selves. We're all human. We all make mistakes. We all make poor choices sometimes. We have thoughts we might not like. That's actually a human experience that we all do go through. And so, we do also say that integration begins with preparation. So practicing compassion for yourself ahead of time. What does that even look like? I mean, when I have actually had deep self-compassion moments, it actually has brought me to tears. It can be very overwhelming. So starting to practice some of these things ahead of time, what does that feel like to have deep compassion for myself and have an overwhelming experience, really opens the door to have maybe more transformation in your actual psychedelic experience.
I think that ties into the messages of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I look at going into a psychedelic experience with having the intentions of maybe what you want to get out of it, but having an intention that's more of a low vibrational intention, like such as I want to know what my next job's going to be, or I'm gonna, I want this very specific thing to happen during a psychedelic experience. That may or may not happen. It's actually less likely to happen if you really have your intentions too narrow. But if you have a high vibrational intention, such as, I want to know self-love, or it is mine too, is that, or else, like, say that you have a deep connection and you're shown self-love or this feeling of deep acceptance and compassion during your psychedelic experience. If you meet that feeling with gratitude, like, oh, thank you, thank you for that, you're rewarded and given even more. It's a very beautiful thing.
And I actually find that the gratitude practice that I do practice daily has helped me in psychedelic experiences where maybe I'm having a bit of a challenge, because sometimes it's challenging to have big expansive states. And so I use my gratitude practice in those times. If I'm having an uncomfortable time, or I'm not sure what's happening or which direction I'm heading, I like to take myself back to a gratitude place. And that has been a really wonderful tool for me in my everyday life and absolutely in psychedelic experiences.
Very
gratitude.
Yay. Yeah, so the main message here, just that, I want to communicate is these experiences are very individual, very unique, and psilocybin meets you where you're at. And one thing that I often talk to people about is, we've all heard about the onion layers, that, you're peeling away the onion layers of your personal growth path, but you got to get through that crunchy part first. And that crunchy part can be resistance, being in the head, being afraid of change. We all have a complicated relationship with change. And so the more that we can be curious and open and find out, how can you kind of be with that crunchy onion part? Don't get angry at yourself or disparage yourself about it. Know that we all have it. We have it in different ways, but this can play out in resistance, that somebody's afraid to let go into their experience. So one technique that I often tell people is, as the experience of psilocybin is coming on, is if you make yourself as heavy as possible, give all your weight and concerns to the mattress that you're laying on, or the recliner, or wherever you are as that experience is coming on, getting yourself heavier, 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 and just relaxing into it. That it kind of takes you out of that mind, that crunchy onion layer part of the self, into being able to relax into the experience.
Yeah. And as Kathy's saying that too, there's a type of work called somatic work, which is really about feeling in your body. And so, for preparation, again, to kind of prepare, that might be something you're interested in learning about. And what that might look like is having a day where suddenly something happened and a lot of anxiety has come up. And so often that happens in our mind, but there's also somewhere in our body that tends to land. And so really just taking a minute with yourself, where am I feeling that in my body? And start to pay attention to the physical sensations of these emotions. It can really give us some grounding and guidance, and to understand, well, this is a certain part of my body and why is it feeling that way? And it's just kind of adds another level of really bringing us back into our being, to be able to maybe relax in that physical form, just like we're talking about relaxing into this experience with the psilocybin. So
yeah, I would add too that you can touch the part of you. Maybe it's the chest that feels uncomfortable and tight and afraid, or your stomach, and you can put your hand there and bring the breath to it. This is really good practice, because all kinds of emotions, sensations are guaranteed to come up during your psilocybin experience. And when you're practicing about making yourself heavy, you can do that in the evening before your experience, like days, weeks, months. You can practice making yourself heavy on your mattress as you're falling asleep, as a technique to try.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Please check out our radiantheartconsulting.com resource page, and also our Epic Healing Eugene FAQ page. And we're wishing everyone well. We're really excited to work with people that come to us. We're really enjoying and appreciating the work. It's feel very honored.
It's an honor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.